Buddy, how's things? How you doing? I think it's a bit high, that is. It's just like, woo. So, it's Thursday again. It's that time again. I want to talk about a dumb tax because I had a really funny experience with one of my clients. Just got off a training that I'm on a training myself. And he made a comment. There's a lot of people on it. He made a comment. And he was like, I want Stephen Bates to punch the air because he gave me a little signal that he achieved something today. And he was talking about one of his new clients. And he said to me, we did it, basically. We managed it. And what it was about is he was undershooting himself. Hi, David. How you doing? He was so undershooting his own niche of what he could go for. And we haven't been working long, only started back in January. And he was paying a huge amount of dumb tax for years. And the dumb tax can be paid in many ways in business. When you make stupid mistakes, when there's things you don't know, when you go for buy a piece of equipment you don't need. There's so many ways we can pay the dumb tax because you don't think things through. But the worst dumb tax of the lot is what he's been paying, which was he was under-niching himself. He wasn't going for the level of client he could do. And we identified that almost immediately when we started working together. He was underselling himself. He was underpricing himself and underselling to the niche. And he's been targeting these people. And it's beginning of April. He just said to me, Stephen Bates is going to pump the air because we're going to have a conversation tomorrow about carrying on our work together. But he was so underselling himself that he's paid the dumb tax of millions. Millions. Now, the interesting thing is, he, back in January, wouldn't go anywhere near these people because who was he? Who was he to go for these big clients? And the moment he got that out of his head, he started targeting them. And he started attracting them, and they're starting to turn up and go through the process. In fact, this is one today he talked about, but he's actually got loads of them stacking up. And he told me yesterday, I'm not going to give numbers, but we're talking multi-million pound pipeline he's now generating for the whole year. He is such a massive, it's like multiple times his pipeline. Because he was paying the dumb tax on one thought inside his head that basically he wasn't good enough to go for these people. But as soon as he started talking to them and showing them what he did, they all went, gimme, 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 gimme. And they're all piling in for trials and stuff. And actually the really interesting thing, he's getting paid to do trials of what he does with a small amount in each company, which is massively more than he would have got paid for the whole work he used to do with somebody. So the trials of them testing him out, he's earning multiple times the amounts for just a trial. So even if the trial doesn't work, his revenue's gone through the roof. So the dumb tax in this one I want to talk about, there's dumb tax everywhere. God, I promise you, I've paid so much dumb tax in my life, I promise you. But the dumb tax is that he didn't go for the niche he should have been going for, and he didn't go for the price point he should have been going for. And what he's realised from that is now his team is closing the smaller ones, the original amounts that he always used to go for. His team, his most junior members of his team are closing those numbers, while he's working with his senior team on these much bigger contracts. So sometimes it's hard to think about this, but it's easy to pay the dumb tax because what you think you're capable of doing is normal. Well, that's just normal. But I was talking with a coaching client, I was teaching them today, and we were talking about what they'd learned over the last few weeks, and they just realised what they could do was so much higher than anything they've ever done before in terms of who they could help and what the price point they could hit. And they've just come out of lockdown and they're going back into their old job and they're just going, oh, I can do better than this. So sometimes we don't know what we don't know. But if you're willing to examine the possibility, then you can make a change, and then you realise how much bloody dumb tax you've been paying, because you think, as my client today, it's like, why the hell didn't I do this before? Because he's been in his game for years. So he's good at what he does. He's very good at what he does. That's why I actually work with him. He helps me. But he was getting stuck because of his crap inside, his sabotage loop inside his head, which was just getting in the way of his belief about who he could go for. So this is the classic revenue loop. If you don't believe in yourself, or you're not prepared to look at what you can do, and it doesn't even matter if you're a novice, because the easiest thing to say, oh, he's been doing it for years, he's an expert, but even a novice can bring something that somebody who would really value, because you would look at it from a different point of view. And this is the thing about one of the biggest dumb taxes, is that I'm new to the game, therefore I'm not as good as somebody who's been doing it for years. Not necessarily true. I know loads of examples. I've done it when I first started being a physio. I helped somebody who'd been to see every single expert around with this problem, and I solved it in one session. Now, I didn't have a bloody clue what I did was so different, but in one session I solved a problem this lady had had for 18 months and seen all the experts, but my approach was different and it worked. That was my first ever proper paying client when I was just opening my business. So, not a fluke, but it was just a bit of a mind-blowing thing, because it was like, oh wow, how come they didn't fix her? Now, I was a complete novice, but I'd learnt something different. I had a different approach, and it worked. So one of the best things about new people is that they can do something that sometimes established people can't do, because they look at it in a different way. They'll see it from a different point of view. They'll ask questions because they're new, and they'll do something different. So you never know where the value is going to come from. So if you've got experience, that's great. If you're new, that's still great. But are you under believing in yourself, so therefore you undervalue yourself, underpromote yourself, underprice yourself, underniche yourself? And it's cost my client millions. But the money's now coming, the contracts are now coming. And he's laughing, and he's phoning me up, saying he actually missed a client call with me. And I said, oh, you coming on the call? And he came on and said, you know, I'm really sorry, I've been doing all this, and I realised I should be on the call with you. And he said, but this is the reason why, because I've just been speaking to another person, and my pipeline's just going exploding. And I said, well, that's the only reason I'll let you off for missing the call, because it's actually working at what we're doing, and it's him just getting out of his own way. It's the first thing. So, are you underniching yourself? Are you underpricing yourself? You're paying the dumb tax because you don't believe in yourself. That's really a dumb tax. Okay, so hope this is useful to you. I'll talk to you soon. If there's any questions, put them in the comments and do all that sort of stuff if you want to. But don't avoid things. Don't assume things. Don't assume anything. Challenge it, because you never know. And you'll be stunned. This person is very experienced. They know their stuff, and they just was like, oh, I can't believe the difference in just a few short weeks, and the revenue's coming in because of it. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Stop paying the dumb tax. Take care now.